everybody might not be loyal to their block, but for the most part, if you from that block, you're loyal to that block.
It started with a clip, just a few seconds long. No context, no explanation, just raw, shaky footage that hit the internet like a storm. One moment, everything looked normal, and the next, chaos. Voices yelling, movement in the dark, and a name that immediately sent shockwaves through the hip hop world: Fetty Wap. Fans woke up to their timelines flooded. Yo, is this real? Nah, this can't be happening. Within minutes, social media is going crazy. The video, allegedly showing New Jersey goons robbing Fetty Wap, spread like wildfire across platforms. Nobody knew exactly when it happened. Nobody could confirm the details, but the energy, the tension, it felt real enough to shake the culture. You hear someone in the clip shout, "Ee?" Another voice cuts in, aggressive, urgent. The camera jerks, like whoever's holding it didn't expect things to escalate this fast. And then it cuts, just like that, leaving millions of viewers stuck with questions, confusion, and a growing sense that something serious went down. Fans are shocked, some are angry, others are skeptical. People are divided. Was this an old video resurfacing? Was it staged? Or was this a real moment that somehow slipped through the cracks and ended up online? And here's the part that makes it even crazier. Unconfirmed reports suggest this might not be as random as it seems. Some people think there's a deeper story here, something tied to past tensions, street politics, or even personal relationships. But right now, nothing is confirmed. All we have is the footage, the reactions, and the mystery that's pulling everybody in. The story starts in a way nobody expected. Was with Fetty Wap, a name that once dominated charts, clubs, and every speaker in the streets, suddenly being pulled back into headlines for something far more serious than music. Fans woke up to clips spreading across timelines showing what many believe is a tense and chaotic moment involving the rapper and a group allegedly identified as New Jersey goons. The footage itself is shaky, unclear in places, and leaves more questions than answers, but that didn't stop social media from instantly going into a frenzy. Within minutes, people were reposting, reacting, and trying to piece together what really happened, and emotions ran high as speculation took over. Now, it's important to say that nothing is fully confirmed. The clips circulating online don't provide full context, and there's no official statement explaining the situation in detail. But that hasn't slowed down the conversation. Fans are shocked, some even confused, because for many, Fetty Wap represents more than just music. He represents a moment in hip hop history that felt raw, authentic, and full of energy. Seeing him tied to something like this, even in rumored form, hit differently. One fan posted, "This don't even feel real, not Fetty," while another said, "If this is true, that's crazy, but we need the full story." That mix of disbelief and concern quickly became the tone across platforms. As the footage continued to circulate, people began analyzing every second. Who were the individuals in the video? Was Fetty actually targeted, or is there more behind the scenes? Some viewers pointed out certain details, like the setting and the way the situation unfolded, in suggesting it might have been planned or connected to something deeper. Others pushed back, saying it looked spontaneous and intense, like something that escalated quickly without warning. Social media is saying a lot right now, but the truth is, nobody outside that moment knows exactly what went down. What makes the situation even more intense is Fetty Wap's connection to New Jersey. This isn't just any random location, it's home. It's where his story began, where his career took off, and where he built his identity in the rap game. So when people heard that this incident allegedly involved individuals from the same area, it added another layer to the narrative. Some people think this could be a case of internal conflict, while others believe it might be unrelated and just coincidence. Again, nothing is confirmed, but the hometown angle has definitely made the situation feel more personal and more complicated. Meanwhile, fans who have followed Fetty's journey over the years can't help but reflect on everything he's been through. From his breakout success to the ups and downs that followed, his story has never been simple. That's why this moment feels heavy for a lot of people. It's not just about a viral clip, it's about what it represents. Is this another chapter in a long list of challenges, or is it being blown out of proportion by the internet? People are divided, and every new repost or comment seems to add fuel to the fire. There's also the question of timing. Why is this footage surfacing now? Some fans believe it could be recent, while others are suggesting it might be older footage that's just now gaining attention. Unconfirmed reports suggest both possibilities, and until something official comes out, it's impossible to say which one is true. But in today's digital world, timing can change everything. A video going viral at the right or wrong moment can completely reshape public perception, and that's exactly what seems to be happening here. Behind all the speculation, there's a deeper conversation starting to build. People aren't just talking about the incident, they're talking about the environment, the pressures, and the realities that artists like Fetty Wap face. Some fans are expressing concern for his safety, while others are questioning how situations like this even happen in the first place. It's a mix of worry, curiosity, and frustration, all playing out in real time across millions of screens. At this point, the only thing that's clear is that the situation is far from fully understood. The footage raised eyebrows, sparked debates, and pulled Fetty Wap back into the spotlight in a way no one expected. Fans are watching closely, waiting for answers, and hoping that more information comes out soon. But until then, the mystery continues to grow, and the tension surrounding this story is only just beginning. As the footage continued to spread like wildfire, the situation quickly shifted from confusion to full-blown chaos. Social media is going crazy, with thousands of users breaking down the clips frame by frame, trying to uncover details that might explain what really happened to Fetty Wap. The comment sections turned into digital war zones where fans, critics, and casual viewers all clashed with their own interpretations. And some people believe the video clearly shows Fetty being targeted, while others argue that the situation might not be what it seems at all. The lack of clear audio and context only made things worse, turning every small movement in the clip into a major talking point. What really pushed things to the next level was when bigger hip-hop pages and influencers started reposting the footage. Once those platforms picked it up, the conversation reached an entirely new audience, bringing in people who weren't even following Fetty closely before. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion. One viral post read, "This industry's dangerous, nobody is safe," while another said, "Y'all need to chill, we don't even know the full story." That divide only grew stronger as more reactions poured in, with emotions running high on both sides. At the same time, the fans began digging into Fetty's recent movements, trying to connect dots that may or may not even exist. Some people pointed out his recent appearances, performances, and social media activity, looking for any clues that could explain the situation. Others brought up past incidents and old rumors, attempting to build a narrative around what they think might have led up to this moment. But again, nothing is confirmed, and much of what's being shared is based purely on speculation. Still, in the world of viral news, speculation can spread just as fast as facts. Then came the first major twist that really shook the internet. A second angle of the footage, allegedly from a different perspective, started circulating, and it seemed to show additional individuals involved in the situation. This new clip raised even more questions than the first. And some fans believe it supports the idea that Fetty was caught off guard, while others think it suggests there may have been some kind of prior interaction that escalated. The truth is, both interpretations are possible, and without official confirmation, nobody can say for sure which one is accurate. Adding to the tension, a few individuals online began claiming to have inside information. Unconfirmed reports suggest that certain people close to the situation might know more than what's being shown publicly, but none of these claims have been verified. Still, that didn't stop them from spreading rapidly, with screenshots and voice notes being shared across platforms. People are divided on whether to believe these supposed insiders or dismiss them as attention seekers trying to go viral themselves. Meanwhile, and some fans started expressing concern about Fetty Wap's well-being. The tone of the conversation shifted slightly from a pure curiosity to genuine worry. Comments like, "I hope he's good," and "this could have gone left real quick," began appearing more frequently, showing that despite all the speculation, there's still a strong sense of support for the artist. Others, however, took a more critical stance, questioning the circumstances and wondering if there's more accountability that hasn't been addressed. That contrast in reactions only added to the emotional weight of the situation. The hip hop community itself also began to react, though in more subtle ways. A few artists posted vague messages that fans are now trying to connect to the situation, while others chose to stay completely silent. That silence, in some cases, spoke just as loudly as any statement. Some people think it means those in the industry are aware of what really happened, but aren't ready to speak on it publicly. Others believe it's simply a case of artists avoiding involvement in something that's still unclear and potentially sensitive. As the hours turned into a full day of nonstop discussion, one thing became clear. This story was far from over. Every new post, every new angle, and every new theory kept the momentum going. Social media platforms were flooded with hashtags, reaction videos, and breakdowns, all centered around this one moment. It wasn't just a viral clip anymore, it had become a full-scale online event, pulling in millions of views and sparking conversations across the entire hip-hop space. Through it all, and the biggest question remained unanswered: what actually happened in that moment? The more people tried to figure it out, the more complicated it seemed to become. Fans are shocked, theories are everywhere, and the truth feels just out of reach. With no official word yet, and the internet moving at full speed, the situation surrounding Fetty Wap continued to escalate, leaving everyone watching closely and waiting for the next piece of the puzzle to drop. By this point, the situation had reached a level where it was no longer just a trending topic, it had turned into a full-blown digital storm, with emotions running high and narratives forming faster than anyone could keep up. The name Fetty Wap was now everywhere again, but this time, it wasn't tied to a hit record or a comeback story. It was tied to uncertainty, tension, and a viral moment that refused to slow down. Fans are shocked, and the deeper people looked into the footage, the more intense the reactions became. Some viewers claimed the body language in the clips told a story of surprise and vulnerability, while others insisted it showed something more complex, possibly an interaction that didn't start the way it ended. What added fuel to the fire was the way different versions of the story began to circulate at the same time. Social media is saying one thing, comment sections are saying another, and reaction videos are adding even more layers to the confusion. One creator posted, "This wasn't random, something led up to this," while another argued, "Y'all are reaching, this could be taken completely out of context." That constant back and forth created a sense of division among viewers, with people forming strong opinions despite the lack of confirmed details. Nothing is confirmed, but that didn't stop the internet from acting like it already had the full story figured out. As the tension grew, more alleged behind the scenes details began to surface. Unconfirmed reports suggest that individuals connected to the area may have had prior knowledge of Fetty's presence, which led some fans to believe this wasn't entirely spontaneous. Others quickly pushed back against that idea, saying there's no solid proof to support it, and warning people not to jump to conclusions. Still, the idea of a setup, even if purely speculative, added a darker tone to the conversation. It shifted the narrative from a chaotic moment to something that some people think could have been planned, even though there's no verified evidence to confirm that. At the same time, older clips and past interviews involving Fetty Wap started resurfacing online, with fans trying to connect his previous statements to what's happening now. Some pointed to moments where he spoke about loyalty, trust, and navigating his environment, suggesting that those words might carry new meaning in light of the situation. Others argued that bringing up old content only distracts from the current reality, which is still unclear and unfolding. But in the world of viral storytelling, context, real or imagined, can quickly become part of the narrative. There were also growing conversations about how quickly situations like this can spiral in the public eye. What started as a short clip had now turned into a massive discussion involving millions of people, many of whom weren't even present or connected to the event. Some fans began calling for patience, urging others to wait for official information before making judgments. Comments like, "We need facts, not guesses," and "this is getting out of hand," started appearing more frequently, showing that not everyone was comfortable with how fast the story was evolving. Even so, the speculation didn't slow down. It only became more detailed and, in some cases, more dramatic. Meanwhile, people close to the culture began to weigh in more cautiously. A few voices in the hip hop space hinted that situations like this are often more complicated than they appear online. Without naming names or confirming anything, they suggested that the public rarely sees the full picture, especially when footage is limited and context is missing. That perspective added another layer of uncertainty, reminding viewers that what they're seeing might only be a small piece of a much larger story. As night turned into another day, the energy around the situation didn't fade. It intensified. New edits of the footage appeared, slowed down, zoomed in, and analyzed in ways that made every second feel heavier than before. People are divided more than ever, with some convinced they understand what happened, and others insisting that the truth is still completely hidden. The emotional weight of the situation continued to grow, especially among fans who have supported Fetty Wap for years and are now trying to process what they're seeing. At its core, this moment became about more than just a viral clip. It became a reflection of how quickly narratives can form, how powerful public perception can be, and how difficult it is to separate fact from speculation in real time. The questions kept building. Was this targeted? Was it random? Is there more footage that hasn't been released? And most importantly, what does this mean for Fetty moving forward? With no clear answers and the internet refusing to slow down, the situation remained as intense as ever, with the truth still feeling just out of reach. As the situation reached its most intense point, the energy surrounding Fetty Wap shifted yet again, this time from pure speculation to a search for clarity that still felt just out of reach. By now, millions of people had seen the footage in one form or another, and the internet had practically split into two sides: those who believed they understood what happened, and those who insisted the truth was still being hidden beneath layers of viral noise. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and every new development felt like it could finally be the moment that explained everything. But somehow, it never fully did. Then came what many are calling the biggest turning point so far. A longer clip, allegedly extending the original footage, began making rounds online, and it immediately changed the tone of the conversation. In this version, viewers claimed there were moments that didn't appear in earlier clips, including interactions that seemed less sudden and more drawn out. Some people think this supports the idea that the situation may not have been completely random, while others argue that even this extended footage still lacks the full context needed to understand what truly happened. Once again, nothing is confirmed, but the release of this clip added even more intensity to an already heated discussion. Social media is going crazy, trying to decode every second of this new angle. Slowed down edits, zoomed in frames, and side by side comparisons flooded timelines, with the creators claiming they had finally figured it out. One viral reaction said, "This changes everything," while another quickly pushed back, saying, "No, it doesn't. We're still missing the beginning." That back and forth kept the tension alive as people struggled to agree on what they were actually seeing. The more the footage was analyzed, the more complicated it seemed to become. At the same time, unconfirmed reports suggest that individuals allegedly connected to the situation may have started responding privately or indirectly, when screenshots of supposed messages and vague statements began circulating, though none of them have been officially verified. Some fans believe these responses hint at a deeper story that hasn't been publicly told, while others think it's just more noise being added to an already overwhelming situation. People are divided, and the line between real information and internet rumor has become harder to see than ever. What made this moment even more powerful was the emotional reaction from longtime supporters of Fetty Wap. For many, this wasn't just another viral incident, it felt personal. They've followed his journey, celebrated his highs, and watched him navigate challenges over the years. Seeing him in this kind of situation, regardless of the full context, hit differently. And comments like, "He's been through enough already," and "I just hope he's okay for real," began trending, showing that beyond all the theories and debates, there was still genuine concern at the center of it all. At the same time, critics began asking tougher questions. Some people think this situation reflects larger issues within the environment surrounding artists, while others believe it's being blown out of proportion by social media. The conversation expanded beyond just one incident and started touching on themes like safety, loyalty, and the pressures that come with fame. But even with those deeper discussions, the main question remained unanswered, hanging over everything like a shadow. What actually happened in that moment? Interestingly, the lack of an official statement only made things more intense. No clear confirmation, and no detailed explanation, just silence. And in today's digital world, silence can speak volumes. Some fans believe that there's a reason for the quiet, suggesting that details are still being sorted out behind the scenes. Others think it's simply a matter of not giving attention to something that may be misunderstood. Either way, that absence of clarity kept the story alive, fueling even more curiosity and speculation. As everything continued to unfold, one thing became impossible to ignore. This situation had grown far beyond the original footage. It had turned into a full scale narrative shaped by millions of voices, each adding their own interpretation, emotion, and theory. The truth felt closer than ever, yet somehow still just out of reach. Every new angle, every reaction, and every rumor added another layer, in making it harder to separate what's real from what's assumed. In the end, The moment stands as a powerful reminder of how quickly things can escalate in the public eye. A single clip can turn into a global conversation overnight, especially when it involves someone as recognizable as Fetty Wap. Fans are still watching, still questioning, and still waiting for something solid to finally bring clarity to the chaos. But until that moment comes, the mystery remains, the tension stays high, and the story continues to unfold in real time. As everything stands right now, the situation surrounding Fetty Wap is still filled with unanswered questions, mixed emotions, and a whole lot of speculation. What started as a viral clip quickly turned into a massive conversation that pulled in fans, critics, and the entire hip hop community. Some people believe they've already figured out what happened, while others are still saying we're only seeing a small piece of a much bigger story. And the truth is, nothing is confirmed. Fans are shocked, people are divided, and social media is going crazy trying to connect the dots. From the original footage to the extended clips, from alleged insider claims to fan theories, every detail has been picked apart and analyzed. But even after all that, the biggest questions still remain. Was this situation random, or was there something deeper behind it? Was Fetty Wap caught off guard, or is there context we still haven't seen? And why hasn't there been a clear response yet? At the same time, it's important to remember how fast narratives can form online. One moment can be replayed 1,000 different ways, each version telling a slightly different story. That's why some fans are urging others to slow down and wait for real information, while others continue to dive deeper into theories. Emotions ran high throughout this entire situation, and it's clear that people care, not just about the story, but about Fetty himself. Now it's your turn to speak on it. What do you think really happened? Do you believe the footage shows the full story, or are we missing something bigger behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this is one of those situations where every opinion counts. And if you've been keeping up with this story, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates as more information comes out.